Good evening, I am Jarvis Bunny with your VON Major News Package for today, Wednesday, 21st November 2018. In our lead stories nationally, a record viewing and listening audience for the introduction of the third political party here on Nevis, and police charge 2 men for attempted murder of hotelier. Regionally, junior minister fired from his post in the BVI. Internationally, Moroccan woman in UAE killed the lover and cooked him. And in sports, Neymar injured as Brazil beat Cameroon. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, Vaughan.
The political party People's Democratic Alliance (PDA) on Nevis was introduced to a record viewing and listening audience on Vaughan Radio's Let's Talk That Get Results program on Tuesday evening, November 20th. Andy Libert, who is one of the founding members of the alliance, explained the origins of the support.
People are fed up and think the country is heading in the wrong direction. Those who stay at home and do not exercise their right to vote feel that they are treated like second-class citizens in their own country. They believe our leaders lack foresight, lack proper planning, has no empathy, lost touch with the people. They believe our leaders are very disrespectful and high-handed. They feel that their freedom of expression and democracy is in serious danger.
Patterson Fleming, who was also a representative on the program and who was once a vocal supporter of the Nevis Reformation Party NRP, outlined why he became involved.
I see the alliance bringing a great sense of love and care for the people of Nevis. And that's what I've been hungry for, and that's what I've been looking for. A lot of love. And that's what we need. And like we mentioned earlier, the Big Brother program, trust me, is going to work well to decrease crime in this country.
We asked Mr. Roberto Hector, the new leader of the NRP, for his comments on the new alliance.
I am not sure from what I heard last night whether or not this is a new political party. But any organization with the aim of promoting democracy within the country, I would want to congratulate them and I would want to wish them well. The issue of a third party in Nevis is an issue that we've grappled with for a long time. I want to say particularly to those supporters of the Nevis Reformation Party, how happy we are that you continue to support the party, especially at this time when we transition. I would also want to say to others that it's a broad umbrella that we practice here, and we are always welcoming to the new and to the old, to the resident, to the non-national. As a party, we are always championing the cause of those who live here on Nevis under that rubric of peace, progress, and prosperity.
We put it to Mr. Hector that the founding members of the PDA were members of the NRP and asked for his response in that regard.
I am not sure what is being said there, that the idea that is given that they are breakaway or offshoots of the Nevis Reformation Party. I am not certain about that, but if that is the case, we offer the hand of friendship. And we would want to work with those who might have become disgruntled for whatever reason in order to champion the high qualities that our party offers.
Mr. Roberto Hector. In more national news,
PDA, which is the People's Democratic Alliance, is a brainchild of numerous persons who came together with different views but had an overall same agenda as to see Nevis moving forward in a positive way. This is about a 3.5-year exercise that's been going on among us in terms of talking about the future and talking about how we can collectively begin to make an impact in this country.
That's a member of the People's Democratic Alliance PDA, Glendale Herbert. The new organization was launched in the Let's Talk That Get Results program here on Vaughan Radio on Tuesday evening. Mr. Herbert was one of 3 members of the group who were guests on the program. Mr. Andy Liburd, one of the members, gave this description of the group.
We are not a political party, but we are what you call a democratic alliance. We will be working with the people, for the people. This country will be run with consultation with the people, and everything we do would be with the people. And we want the people to understand that we are not here looking for a salary. We are here because we recognize that you have been suffering for a number of years. We decided not just to get into politics, but to develop a plan, look at different models that is out there and successful country, and that is what we are presenting to you.
Member of the People's Democratic Alliance, PDA, Mr. Andy Liburd. The other member was Mr. Patterson Fleming. In police news, police have charged 2 men for the attempted murder of John Yearwood. According to a police communique on Tuesday, November 20th, police charged Patrice Monzac and Mikey Mills, both of Newcastle Nevis, for the offense of attempted murder. The release also said that both men are currently warded in a stable condition at the Alexandra Hospital, where they are being treated for gunshot injuries. Reports say on Thursday, November 8th, 2 armed masked individuals broke into the home of Mr. Yearwood at his home in Jones Estate at around 1:45 a.m. Mr. Yearwood is reported to have been shot in the leg, and he is reported to have shot the 2 intruders. It was also reported that the intruders made good their escape with a quantity of cash and Yearwood's pickup, which was later found abandoned in the Mount Nevis area. 4 men were subsequently captured by police as they attempted to board the sea bridge in Cades Bay, Nevis, which was bound for St. Kitts. In more police news, Chauvin Adolfo Richin was found guilty today, Wednesday, November 21st, for the 2015 murder of Rakeem Rakbo Hanley, who was 17 at the time. Police reports say the majority verdict was 10-2. In 2015, police reported that Chauvin and his brother Trevon Richin of Upper Durant Avenue were taken into custody on August 29, 2015, and were assisting police with their investigation into the matter. Back in January of this year, Trevon walked out the court a free man after a no-case submission was upheld. A no-case submission, sometimes shortened to no case to answer, is a term whereby a defendant seeks acquittal or release without having to represent a defense. That's actually without having to present a defense. To provide some insight into what happened, on Tuesday, August 25, 2015, Hanley was shot multiple times just before 9 p.m. on Fort Thomas Road, Bastair. Reports are that he was on a bicycle when he was shot by unknown assailant or assailants. He was taken to the JNF hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. That murder was recorded as a 20th homicide for the Federation in 2015. The Ministry of Health announced today, Wednesday, November 21st, that imports of romaine lettuce into the Federation from the United States, US, could be tainted with E. coli bacteria. A release from the Ministry of Health states that the advisory, based on a food safety alert issued by the US-based Centers for Disease Control CDC on November 20th, which stated inter alia that the public should not consume any type of romaine lettuce due to a recent E. coli outbreak in the US. The CDC alert includes all romaine lettuce varieties such as whole heads or hearts, bags and boxes of pre-cut lettuce and salad mixes, including Caesar salad. In light of this, US CDC advisory, the Office of the Chief Medical Officer has advised that all romaine lettuce stocks among retailers and wholesalers be pulled from the refrigerators and freezers and discarded as a safety precaution. By extension, hotels and restaurants are urged not to serve or sell any dishes containing romaine lettuce until further notice. The CMO's office has further advised that consumers in St. Kitts and Nevis should discard any romaine lettuce that has been purchased recently. Consumers are encouraged to check their refrigerators for any romaine lettuce that may be stored there and discard them as well. Care should also be taken to wash or sanitize refrigerator drawers or shelves where the lettuce was stored prior to restocking those areas with other food products. The public is also advised that if anyone has consumed tainted romaine lettuce, the following E. coli infection symptoms may occur within 1 to 10 days. A. Severe stomach cramps. B. Diarrhea, often with blood and lasting more than 3 days. C. High fever. And D. Vomiting. Should any of these symptoms manifest, persons are advised to promptly access care at any of the 4 local hospitals. The Office of the CMO will issue a subsequent advisory on when it would be safe to resume purchase and consumption of romaine lettuce imported from the U.S. St. Kitts and Nevis's Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris, has expressed sadness over news of illness that has befallen the President of Guyana, His Excellency Brigadier David Granger. President Granger traveled to Havana, Cuba on Tuesday, October 30th, initially for a medical investigation, which he deemed necessary because of an unusual physical discomfort. After a series of medical tests, the President was diagnosed as suffering from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is described as a type of cancer that develops in the lymphatic system, which is a network of vessels and glands that spread throughout the body. Prime Minister Harris said in a letter to the President, and I quote, "I am deeply moved by the recent news of your illness and hospitalization in the Republic of Cuba. I wish, therefore, to convey on behalf of the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis, and indeed on my own behalf, best wishes for your speedy recovery," end quote. Following his flight from Havana to Guyana on Tuesday, November 20th, a statement from the Embassy of Guyana in the Republic of Cuba stated that President Granger may be required to return to Cuba in a time prescribed by his medical team in order to examine and evaluate the progress of his recovery and to extend his schedule of treatment. The Ministry of Education here in St. Kitts and Nevis has announced the most outstanding female candidate both regionally and nationally for CCSOC, and that person is Miss Daria James. Miss James also produced the most outstanding performance overall in the May-June 2018 Caribbean Secondary Education Certificate CSEC examinations for St. Kitts and Nevis. She was among students in the Federation who displayed impressive academic abilities in the May-June examinations of the Caribbean Examinations Council CXC. Daria attained 10 Grade 1 passes and will receive her award or awards at the 50th meeting of the opening of Council and Regional Top Award Ceremony in St. Vincent on Thursday, December 6, 2018. In addition, the most outstanding male candidate for CCSOC in the Federation is Mr. Nkone Nichols. Mr. Nichols and Miss James were students of the Washington Archibald High School. Mr. Tyreek Mills of the Bastia High School was declared the first runner-up for the most outstanding CSEC performance overall in the Federation, and Mr. Koya Warner of the Charles E. Mills Secondary School, second runner-up. And lastly, in our news segment, December 5th, that's actually lastly in our national news segment, December 5th is Budget Day here on Nevis. In making the announcement of the date during his monthly press conference on Tuesday, November 20th, Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Mark Brantley, encouraged the public to attend the sitting of the Nevis Island Assembly to listen firsthand to what would be offered in the 2019 budget. The address will be delivered by Minister Brantley for the second time in his capacity as Premier since he was sworn into office on December 24, 2017. The last budget address was presented at the Assembly on February 12, 2018. And that's our national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com, or you can check us out on Facebook at Von Radio and our Von Radio YouTube channel. Regional news comes up next. We are in the hurricane season and danger is right upon us. That is why we at the Bank of Nevis Limited have decided that it is time we finish your home. Get that well-needed fence or make some minor upgrades to your home. On a more serious note, install some shutters to keep your family safe during this hurricane season. Visit us or contact us today at 1-869-469-5564. The Bank of Nevis Limited will always stay committed to improving the quality of life. Welcome back on to the regional news. News from the British Virgin Islands. Local legislator Archibald Christian has been sacked from his position as Junior Minister of Tourism. Governor Augustus Jaspert fired Christian from the post last Thursday, November 15th. Premier Dr. D. Orlando Smith told members of the media that the governor sacked Christian on the Premier's recommendation. Christian's removal from the post follows his resignation from the National Democratic Party NDP this week. Mr. Christian, meanwhile, that's actually last week. Mr. Christian, meanwhile, told local media that on account of him being fired, he is now officially associating himself with the Progressive Virgin Islands Movement, PVIM. Reports say that a government minister is the leader of the PVIM, but that is still to be confirmed. Out of Jamaica, the government has embarked on discussions regarding the introduction of a Paternity Leave Act to encourage shared parenting, support and mentoring. Speaking at an International Men's Day Forum on Monday, November 19th, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Culture and Gender, Denzel Thorpe, said the act is in line with the recommendations of the National Policy for Gender Equality. Paternity leave is defined as a job-protected period of leave for employed men with income support provided in some cases following childbirth. P.S. Thorpe also said that there will be consultations on the relevance of paternity leave to the Jamaican society and the parameters of the Paternity or Parental Leave Act. The policy outlines Jamaica's commitment towards gender equality and to providing an enabling environment for achieving the goals of fairness and socio-economic justice for women and men. In Guyana, an elderly Canadian woman was killed when a Fly Jamaica aircraft skidded off the runway after a hydraulics failure on November 9th in Guyana, Georgetown, Global Affairs has confirmed to Global News. Global Affairs issued a statement saying our thoughts and sympathies are with the loved ones of the Canadian citizen who passed away in Guyana. The woman, Rokia Kalu, was identified to Global News by a family member who also confirmed that she was a Canadian citizen. The family member did not wish to provide any further statement. Local media sources report that Kalu was 86 years old. The Boeing 757-200 aircraft was on its way to Toronto after departing from Cheddi Jagan International Airport in Georgetown, Guyana last week. That's actually on November 9th. Airline spokesman Carl Bowen confirmed to the media at the time that the plane took off and returned after less than 20 minutes. Bowen said a total of 120 passengers were on the plane and that the right wing and engine were badly damaged in the crash. And lastly, in our regional news segment, in Barbados, government's retrenchment exercise was hit with a number of hiccups, and Prime Minister Mia Mottley has gone so far as to speculate that the process was intentionally undermined. Prime Minister Mottley spoke to the local media on the sidelines of the loan agreement signed between the Inter-American Development Bank IDB and government for US $100 million on Sunday. She stated that she is deeply disappointed about the manner in which this was done, but it goes even further. I am now satisfied there is an element of sabotage in respect to some aspects of it. The trade unions, including the National Union of the Public Workers and the Barbados Workers Union, have openly expressed dissatisfaction with the way in which just over 800 public servants received notice of retrenchment within the last few weeks. And that's our regional news segment. International news and sports comes up next. Welcome back on to the international news. A Moroccan woman has been accused of killing her lover and serving up his remains to Pakistani workers in the United Arab Emirates, prosecutors say. The woman killed her boyfriend 3 months ago, they say, but the crime was only recently discovered when a human tooth was found inside her blender. She confessed to police, calling it a moment of insanity, state-owned newspaper The National reports. The woman, who is in her 30s, will go on trial pending an investigation. U.S. President Donald Trump has submitted written answers to the special counsel over alleged Russian meddling during the 2016 presidential campaign. Mr. Trump's lawyer Rudy Giuliani said some of the questions posed by special counsel Robert Mueller had gone beyond the scope of a legitimate inquiry. Last week, Mr. Trump said he had answered the questions very easily. The U.S. president strongly denies any collusion with Russia, calling Mr. Mueller's investigation a witch hunt. On Tuesday, Mr. Giuliani confirmed that Mr. Trump's answers had been handed over to investigators, adding that the president had provided unprecedented cooperation and that it was time to bring this inquiry to a conclusion. A British PhD student has been sentenced to life in prison after being found guilty of spying in the United Arab Emirates, UAE. Matthew Hedges, 31, of Durham University, denies the charge and said he had been conducting research. A court in Abu Dhabi has declared him guilty of spying for or on behalf of the UK government. His family claims the verdict is based on a false confession. Here is more in this report.
This is devastating news for Matthew Hedges and his family, who were hoping that he would be released today after a hearing in the capital city of Abu Dhabi. The 31-year-old academic was detained at the Dubai airport on May 5th when he was attempting to leave the country after a research trip focused on the UAE's foreign policy and security strategy. Concern has grown in recent weeks for the academic's mental and physical health after his family and fellow academics said he had been held in solitary confinement for nearly 6 months. Foreign media were barred from this morning's court proceedings and were moved on from reporting near the court by police. Word of his decision came via a family spokesperson.
And lastly, in our international news segment, Saudi Arabia tortured and sexually harassed human rights activists, including several women, human rights groups have alleged. Prisoners in the kingdom's Dhaban prison have allegedly been electrocuted and flogged. Saudi Arabia arrested several women's rights activists earlier this year, and influential clerics and intellectuals have also been detained. However, a Saudi official told the Wall Street Journal the kingdom does not condone, promote, or allow the use of torture.
Disturbing new reports have emerged about the treatment of at least 3 of the high-profile women's rights activists who've been detained this year. Human Rights Watch says its sources say that at least 3 of the women were abused by masked Saudi investigators during the initial stages of their interrogations. The sources say the women showed physical signs of torture afterwards, including difficulty in walking, uncontrolled shaking of their hands, and marks and scratches on their faces and necks. At least one of the women is said to have tried to kill herself a number of times. Neither the women's names nor those of the sources have been revealed for fear of reprisal.
And that brings us to the end of our news segment. The latest in sports is next.
It's big, it's large, it's huge. It's the Mega Money Christmas Loan from TDC Financial Services. This holiday season, get $25,000 unsecured and a chance to win mega prizes. Win a mega 49-inch curved TV, deferred payment, gift cards, ham, turkey, and more mega prizes. Make your holiday mega with the Mega Money Christmas Loan from TDC Financial Services. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back. Now on to the sports. In football, Paris Saint-Germain forward Neymar played for only 6 minutes as Brazil edged out Cameroon in Milton Keynes 1-0. Neymar suffered an adductor muscle injury while taking a shot and was replaced by Everton's Richarlison. Moreover, the Toffees forward proved to be the match winner, powering home a header on the stroke of half-time. Manchester City's Gabriel Jesus struck the post for Brazil in the second half, while Arthur hit the crossbar with a long-range effort. Brazil team Dr. Rodrigo Lasma said Neymar felt discomfort and he will need a bit more time to evaluate it as well as take a scan, but in principle it is not a serious injury. In cricket, Australia held on for a thrilling victory over India in the first 2020 international in Brisbane. Chasing 174 from 17 overs, India needed 13 from the final over, but Marcus Stoinis took 2 wickets in consecutive balls to seal victory by 4 runs. The scores were as follows: Australia 158 for 4 in 17 overs, Maxwell 46, K. Yadav 2 for 24. India 169 for 7 in 17 overs, Dhawan 76, Zampa 2 for 22. Australia win by 4 runs, DLS method. In tennis, Venus Williams has settled a wrongful death lawsuit with the family of a man who died as a result of a car crash in Florida involving the U.S. tennis star. Ms. Williams and the family of Jerome Barson reached a settlement last week, court documents show. Further details were not included. Mr. Barson, 78, suffered massive fatal injuries from the collision in Palm Beach Gardens City on June 9, 2017. Police had previously cleared Ms. Williams of wrongdoing over the crash. Mr. Barson's wife, Linda, who was driving the couple's vehicle through an intersection when the collision happened, was also earlier cleared by police investigators. Ms. Williams, a 7-time Grand Slam champion and currently ranked world number 40 in the WTA singles rankings, reportedly told police at the time that she had not seen the couple's car and had been driving slowly. And lastly, in our sports segment, in local sports, a football academy was launched in Nevis at the Cotton Ground playing field. The academy is the brainchild of Mr. Lofton Herbert, former Nevis footballer and current manager at the City Drugstore in Charlestown. It is understood that the age range for boys and girls to attend the academy is between 5 and 13 years and that registration for the academy is free. Sessions will be held at the Cotton Ground playing field every Sunday afternoon starting at 4 p.m. And that's it for sports. The weather is next. Welcome back. Tonight's weather will continue to be fair to partly cloudy with a 20% chance of showers. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy with a 30% chance of a late into early evening showers. The winds are easterly with speeds ranging between 22 and 31 kilometers per hour. The sea's heights are from 1.5 to 2.1 meters tonight, with a slight decrease tomorrow between 1.2 and 1.8 meters. The small craft advisory currently in effect will be downgraded to a caution by tomorrow. The sunrise tomorrow will be at 6:18 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Wednesday, 21st November 2018. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, a record viewing and listening audience for the introduction of the third political party here on Nevis, and police charged 2 men for attempted murder of hotelier. Regionally, junior minister fired from his post in the BVI. Internationally, Moroccan woman in UAE killed lover and cooked him. And in sports, Neymar injured as Brazil beat Cameroon. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Jarvis Brown wishing you a pleasant evening.